It, it's quite interesting to, when we just realise something. Um, you think you understand something, and then you realise something new about it. Is kind of what I'm talking about. So, I've been doing the personal development stuff for years. This is part of it, by the way, where I'm going. So I thought a few minutes ago, well, it was actually about an hour ago, I thought I'll make a video. What was it to do with? It was to do with the fact that I'm seeing more and more people beginning to go through a bit of a shift, a bit of an awakening shift. And there's been a lot of that going on of late, but there's something different going on. There's a different little twist to it. And so my immediate thought was, I'll make this video. I'll do my bits and pieces that I've got to get done in the morning. And then I thought, right, I'll do a quick wee video. And my immediate thought was, right, I'll go and change my jersey. But then the realisation I had was that when I do that, there's a different me that does the video. I kind of step into I don't know, I don't quite want to say a more professional version of me, because I don't know if there is a professional version of me, but slightly more professional maybe, or more presentable or something. Less real comes flashing to mind, because this is me, Bill Grant the Joiner. Been Bill Grant the Joiner since, I don't know, since I was about 14 probably, when I started doing joiner work, or 12 even. But obviously more so as an adult when I went into the working world. And there's a running joke that we've kind of got in the family that people in town would refer to me as, if they were explaining who Bill Grant the Joiner is, they would say the guy with the green jersey, because I always have this. I bought a pile of these jerseys at the same time because they were very good. Actually blue and green. But I always get seen as the guy with the green jersey, and it's where I'm comfortable in my own skin, not trying to be something, not trying to appear a certain way. And so we've had this stuff going around for years where people say, yeah, just be yourself. And we always have a sense of, well, I am being myself. But that realisation this morning, or just a wee while ago, to do with the jersey thing, I'm going to do a video. And it doesn't bother me to have stuff in the background, because that's not about me, myself. It's I don't count that stuff. And I know other people wouldn't do that. They would have the room looking kind of professional and stuff. But I don't see that as that's not an issue for me. But I never realised that, like, sorting my hair out and having a cold sore and whatever, stuff like that. That's me. That's who I am. That's who I am today. It's who I am in general. Not the cold sore, but, and just being real, being true, being me. And it's what I'm offering here is something that I hadn't realised. When we talk about just be yourself, and we think we are being ourselves, and then we realise something else again, where we weren't actually being ourselves. So as I paused in that instant there, the pause was, will I redo this? Because it took a few seconds to get going at the start. But there again, that's me. That is myself. That was real. That was true. I did take a few seconds to get going at the start. And I don't have to re-record it so that I can discern it as being a better video. Because it won't be a better video. I don't know, it might be a better video. So again, as I pause, as the kind of question going through my mind is, how do we know when we're being ourselves? The answer that comes immediately is when we're not trying. Might be right. It's interesting because there's nobody else to look at apart from me on the screen as I'm doing this, or the camera, and it always looks a bit daft when I watch the recording back and I go, what's he looking at up there? You know, because it seems as if I've got to kind of look about here for it to look right visually, but there's nothing to look at there other than a white bit on the screen. And if I look down at me, then it looks too low. And I notice there's that part of me that wants to try and get that bit right. And as I kind of glance to the side, so that I can tune into or disconnect from here and tune into me, it's like, well, I should really keep my gaze over here. You know, it's inappropriate to be looking over here. It's wrong. It's, I don't know, something. I'm not being present with you. But then I'm not really being present with you anyway. I'm just being present with me, which helps you to be present with you. So what's moving right now? So what's coming to mind is that there are several me's, you know. There's me that I am when I run my Zoom calls, my groups. There's me, the dad, the husband, all of that stuff. The joiner, builder, life coach. But they're all things that I do. This feels more like I catch myself doing it like. So if I look at the camera and I look back, there's a slight lag over maybe a quarter of a second. So when I go from here to here, I can actually see my eyes dropping back. It's quite funny. And there's absolutely no reason to tell you that. Why would I tell you that? Because does it have to have a value? Does it have to be meaningful? Does it have to be teaching? Does it have to serve a purpose? Or is it just okay? I find myself sitting like this quite often now. So, you can't, just a typical office chair with the armrests. I quite often find myself to one side. I don't know where it helps me to go in myself. It's like I'm kind of leaning in and feeling in psychically, energetically into the space. And my breathing changes when my coach kicks in. But is this acceptable? If you're still watching this video, presuming I've actually posted it somewhere, I don't know where I'm going to post it, but is this acceptable? Is this okay? For me to be lying kind of half slouched over the arm of the chair, kind of twisted, no particular effort to do with my background, my clothing, my appearance. I'm supposed to be fixing a fence. The storm damage we had, a few fence boards need fixed. So is this okay? Is this acceptable? I'm okay with it. That was maybe a wee bit quiet. I'm okay with it. Feels like being, just like being. Feels like being rather than doing. Getting uncomfortable now, so. You should try this. Just for the fun of it. No agenda, no intention of... Well, I don't know, maybe I had an intention at the start. I can't remember what my first thought was to do with the video. I think I said something earlier. Oh yeah. Spiritual awakening. People going through shifts and changes. This voice thing happens. This, having to clear my throat. And I was working with a group a couple of weeks ago. And somebody kind of ended up sort of coaching me around it. That it tended to happen when I was getting too heady, too coachy, too kind of teachy. Which was quite amusing to realise or to see, to observe, to watch. Maybe it's just when I talk. Is this madness to sit and record a video like this, Because my mouth's squint as well, you see. It goes up, what way? Goes up that way. There you go. So my face seems kind of squished a bit on this side. And more kind of open on that side. I don't know if you can see it. Sometimes it's really noticeable, and then like my nose is like a bit that way. If I do that, but then my nose is red here, got a sore bit. Rubbing down plasterboard, and you get all the dust and it dries your skin. So it dried my skin. Yeah, I get sore. So it's like, how can I get my nose to be straight on the screen? Kind of there. And then my mouth. It's odd. Being weird. Being different. I want to tell you the story that I think is why my face was like that. To do with an accident, a bang on the head I had. I think it's had effect. I keep wanting... This mirroring camera thing's annoying. Got a real battering on the head years ago with a JCB excavator. It took my head clean off my shoulders. Broke my teeth. Imagine getting hit so hard there that your jaw stays behind and your teeth kind of go against each other and break. Just by getting clipped up here, bang. Or up here, yeah. Which is interesting, because what that brings up is what does it call it? Like divine intervention. See, here it goes again, you see. Only happens when I talk. Maybe I'm not meant to talk. I think there's been divine intervention in my life a few times. The thing with the JCB excavator was a bit of ground that a couple of us got together and bought to build a house. And I was on the site, the excavator was on site doing the site clearance, as we call it, all the bushes and such like, so that I could map the foundations out. And I bent down to pick something up. And the excavator was away across the other side of the site, but he had his his jib fully extended and a big ditching bucket on, and he had the telescopic arm full out, so he could not have been more extended than he was. And he just swung right round, boof, clipped me on the head. Only just up here, and barely broke the skin. But the reason was there was some kind of moment where it was like an intuitive something, I don't know, there's something wrong, and I kind of moved an inch, 2 inches, and then I got thrown 6 feet, and kind of woke up lying in the dirt, bleeding. But there was divine intervention there. There was something happened, which is also that spiritual kind of domain. It's quite an intriguing word, spiritual. For me, where I'm at after years and years of doing this stuff is, I see the spiritual in contrast to the natural or natural. Sometimes we talk about the natural world, but we talk about nature. And for some reason we've divided these things in the way that we verbalise them. We should say nature, and we also say natural. But I think it's the same thing. And I think it's the feminine energy, like Mother Nature. And then the masculine being the spiritual. Don't know why I went there. Maybe to do with the spiritual. There's lots of stuff to do with the spiritual. But I think that's the main kind of divide. And as I sit here rambling, it's like that's 17 minutes of rambling now. And my internet's rubbish. Which means that this could take, so at the moment it's 11:30, Thursday morning. This could take till tomorrow at this time to upload to YouTube. And it's like, is it worth the bother? I find it quite easy to be me. Just to be me. Just, to do nothing. Just to be me. But then to express it, to talk, it gets trickier. And it gets messier. And it becomes less being. See, there we go again, laptop. I'm kind of receiving something. It kind of comes down through the centre of this eye, or on this occasion, I get stuff that goes in all directions through me. This one's coming kind of down through the centre of this eye, and I don't know why. And it's saying to talk about what I'm actually doing here is also mindfulness. But I wasn't actually mindful of doing mindfulness. I just realised I was actually being mindful, with no intention to be mindful. But I'm not going to talk about mindfulness. I notice where I went there in that emptiness was to kind of witnessing. Doesn't feel like judgment as such. I think when we use the word judgment, we generally mean being judgmental in a negative way. So it wasn't that. It was more of a feeling into whether or not this video has any worth to anybody. You know, if there's any point in posting it, if anybody would even watch it this far or get anything from it, if it's going to serve anything. And that where I've made videos before, you know, I'll watch them back and I'll think, yeah, that was okay, that was a good video, you know, and judge it by whatever yardstick. You know, for example, whether I said too many ums, you know, or not, as if that's going to make it a good video or not. Or did I speak clearly enough? Or did I just speak in my own kind of native tongue without making any real effort? You know, all sorts of things that I use, and most people probably use as a measure of whether or not it's okay. But it doesn't really mean it's going to land with anybody watching it or make any sense to anybody watching it. So what pops up as I say that is there's something within me that wants to say, because it's the spirit of something that matters. You know, people don't get that. Yeah. So what's the spirit of this? Okay, so I'm now, there's a messaging thing going on here saying you need to explain about language, because we use a lot of modern day language for things. And I reckon that a lot of our modern day language is just different words. So to say, to feel for the energy of something, for me is to say the same thing as feeling for the spirit of something. But we get caught up in this modern day language of talking about energy. And there's loads of other words where I do this. And I think it's detrimental. Well, I sense it's detrimental, firstly. If I'm present to myself, I feel it, I sense it, and then I think about it. And if I think about it and I come to the same conclusion, then I also think it's detrimental. So I sense it's detrimental, contemplate it, and then, having used thought, may come to the same conclusion that I also think it's detrimental. Because when we do that, we, in my experience, is we attribute blame or credit to the wrong place. You know, because there is spiritual guidance at play in life, and within us, I believe it's internal and external. What is it? And it's no matter. That everything in life is guiding us on our journey through life. Either showing us the awe and wonder of what it is, or triggering us to look at something that's stopping us from seeing the awe and wonder of everything. And that's all that's going on. So I've got something else playing with me inside here now. And it's like, I dare you to post this. You're never going to post this. Sitting here rambling about yourself. You wouldn't post this. And then there's another voice that says, might be a good idea if you don't post it, because if you do post it and you don't get any likes, then you're going to kind of like be upset by yourself or something, which is just my ego, obviously. I'm kind of half smiling here, because it'd be silly to post this. What on earth is in this that's of any value to anybody? I know it became quite still there. And again, a playful part inside me went, pretend you've frozen. I can't do it. I'm moving, look. But maybe the video will freeze. That wasn't bad, that was alright. Wee challenge for you. Can you sit and be completely still inside with nothing moving? And be okay with it? Not good in contrast to bad, or right in contrast to wrong, or better in contrast to worse, or doing something impressive, or just stillness. Just be at rest in yourself. I bet you're fast forward in this. Well, that was me presuming that of course I've uploaded it. If you've sat and watched this for 27 minutes, then I think it's quite ridiculous that you've wasted 27 minutes, 28 minutes of your day. That's obviously a judgment, a projection. You've got to have something better to do, surely. I'm just avoiding fixing the fence, I think. And then a wee voice pops up saying, no, you're resting your knee, you've got a sore knee. And you're wanting to put, lights on one of the trees in the garden. And you'll be lucky if you made it up the ladder once, never mind up and down 50 times. Going to keep it going until it gets to 30 minutes. Then I'm going to end it. That's maybe just the OCD part of me. So we're at 29 minutes and 34 seconds. So as we'll go 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Oh yeah, 8, 9, 30 minutes.